Hello! Like most people in the world right now, I have been stuck in my apartment for a long time. Oh boy, do I need a vacation. Which got me to thinking, which of the Pokemon regions would be the best vacation destination? A few criteria before we get started. First, I'm only going to include main areas of each region. Sorry, Sevi Island. Second, I'm imagining the tourists as NPCs, so they wouldn't have access to certain areas like the Cave of Origins. Third, when evaluating the regions, I'm going to be focusing on the scenery and what tourists could actually do there. The more options, the better. Okay, from worst to best, let's get started with number 8, Kanto. In Kanto, all the routes in cities are pretty much the same. Part of this was due to design limitations, but even in the remakes, they pretty much didn't change any of this. Probably didn't want to anger any Gen 1ers, but this would make it a kind of boring place to tour. The focus of the Gen 1 games was on technology and advancement, so because of that, there's not much in the way of historical sites. The only place I could really think of that's even mildly historical is the Pokemon Mansion on Cinnabar Island, and that's pretty recent history. Also, you probably don't want to visit there because it's full of Grimer and coughing and Rattata, so that sounds like a good way to get sick. Gen 1 is also lacking in terms of tourist locations. I guess there's Cycling Road if you can somehow afford a bicycle. And there's Cerulean Cape, which is kind of romantic, although it's sometimes blocked off by Team Rocket, so maybe not the best place to take your date. Oh, there's the SS Sand if you can afford a ticket and it doesn't sink. Overall, Kanto is by far the worst in terms of tourism. Number 7 is Johto. Johto's scenery is not all that great. Like with Kanto, everything looks pretty much the same with a few notable exceptions like the ice path. There's the Lake of Rage, which might be an ideal camping spot if Team Rocket isn't causing the Gyarados to rage. Darn Team Rocket ruining all my vacation plans! For historical sites, Johto actually has a lot to offer. There's a Ruins of Alph as well as the Sprout, Burned, and Tin Towers. The locals are also very open to talking to tourists about the region's history. You can even see traditional dance performances, which is pretty cool. But in terms of typical tourist attractions, Johto has nothing. The only touristy place is the Olivine Lighthouse, which you would have to climb on foot because there's no elevator. The view is probably pretty nice though. So while Johto has something to offer in terms of historical sites, that's really all it has going for it. Number 6 is Sinnoh. At first glance, Sinnoh seems like it should be a lot higher on this list. Climbing Mount Coronet could be a whole vacation in itself. I mean, if you're physically able to do that, I'm definitely not muscly enough for that. If you're a fan of cold weather, Sinnoh definitely has that. Though if you're more of a beach type person, well, this region isn't exactly known for being warm. Historical sites in Sinnoh tend to be pretty dangerous. I mean, Turnback Cave's name is literally screaming, "Stay away, tourists!" The Celestion ruins would probably be safe though, and you could definitely visit Lake Valor, Acuity, and Verity. Aside from that, there's not much to do in Sinnoh. You could go walk around Amity Square or visit the Vista Lighthouse, which does have an elevator. If you're an outdoorsy person who wants to go mountain climbing, go to Sinnoh. Otherwise, probably not the best vacation spot. Number 5 is Gallard. Of the places we've talked about so far, Gallard definitely has a wider variety of scenery. This is largely due to the wild area, which has multiple notable locations that would be really fun to explore. A lot of people camp in the wild area, so there's that option as well. However, some parts of the wild area would be pretty dangerous for your average person, so I'm not sure how accessible they are. You could also visit Glimwood Tangle and Balanlea, which have very unique vegetation. If you want to learn the history of Gallard, you could go see the Turffield Giant or the Stoneside Mural. There's also the Hero's Bath in Circhester. Hammerlock has historical sites as well, but most of them are not available to the general public. In terms of things to do in Gallard, this is where it kind of falls short. The main attraction in Gallard are the Pokemon gyms, which are hyped up a lot more than in other regions due to the ability to Dynamax in them. But other than that, there's not much to do in Gallard. Sure, they have your typical things like boutiques, cafes, restaurants, and hotels, but those are standard for every region after this. It looks like there should be things to do in Winden, but we can't actually get to them in the game, so it seems like these are unavailable to the general public. Just let me ride the Ferris wheel! Overall, Gallard has quite a few attractions, but not all of them are accessible to your average person. Number 4, Alola. If you're a travel blogger, this is your place for sure. It's full of photo opportunities between the beaches, desert, jungle, volcano, and meadows. There's even Mount Lanakila if you want to take snowy pictures, though it seems a little bit dangerous to climb on your own. You might need a guide for that. Alola has a very unique culture, and that shines through in its cities and towns. If you want to go full Alola, head to Seafolk Village. Mali City and Garden are notably different from the rest of the region as they're more Johto inspired. If you're more interested in history specifically, you could head to the altar of the sun or moon, depending on what version of reality you live in. In terms of actual tourist attractions though, Alola is kind of lacking. You could visit the Aether Paradise, but that's kind of separate from Alola. On the islands themselves, the only really unique thing to do is mantine surfing. So if your main goal is to chill and take pictures, Alola is the perfect destination for you. But if you want to do more on your vacation, well, number 3, Hoenn. Like Alola, Hoenn has a tropical climate with lots of beaches and boating. It has similar areas to Alola, including a desert and volcano. Speaking of the volcano, in Lava Ridge, there are natural hot springs that you can bathe in. Not too far from there is an area where ash falls from the sky like snow, which is unlike anywhere in any other region. There's also Pseudopolis City, a city in a giant white stone crater, making the view uniquely beautiful. If you want more of a nature-based area, head to Fortree City, where people live in tree houses with their Pokemon. Or you could head to Pacific Log, a town that literally floats on the water. If you want to go shopping, Lily Cove has a huge department store and is not too far from Moss Deep, which has a space station. Or you could go to Slateport City's market, which is right in the beach. Many historical areas in Hoenn have yet to be discovered, which makes hiking, boating, and scuba diving, yes, I said scuba diving, a lot more fun. It does mean that you need to be a little careful though, because you never know what you're gonna uncover. Hoenn and Alola are pretty similar in terms of scenery, but there's more to do in Hoenn, which gives it the edge. Number 2 is Kalos. Kalos also has a variety of areas, including 2 very unique and beautiful caves. Glittering Cave, which is full of glowing crystals, and Reflection Cave, which is like a natural hall of mirrors. If you want to stay above ground, Koroway has beautiful waterfalls. Looking for more of a desert adventure? Check out the Lumiose Badlands, but be warned, it can get quite windy there. One reason Kalos ranks so high is its historical location. Go see Geosenge Town's unique rock formation, said to be linked with some of the most important historical events in the region. There's also the Anastar Sundial. Make sure to be there at 8 p.m. to see its strange behavior. If you want a closer look at the historical people of Kalos, you can tour Parfume Palace and Chabonneau Castle. Or if you want to learn about the marine life in the area, check out the Ambret Aquarium. But if you're more about the here and now, Lumiose City is the place to be. It's basically the fashion capital of Pokemon, and there are more cafes here than literally anywhere else. Plus, Prism Tower, especially at night, is quite the spectacle. Kalos seems like it's almost designed for tourists, but there's one place that's even more perfect. Number 1, Unova. Unova has a huge variety of areas. Want to go to the beach? Got it. Desert? Sure. Freeze your butt off in the snow? Have that too. In terms of unique areas, the most notable is Chargestone Cave, which is full of floating, glowing stone. If you're interested in fossils, you could head to the Nakreen Museum. Feeling adventurous? Why not explore Relic Castle? Opelousas City is also known for its preservation of history. Well, in certain realities anyways. All of those things are cool, but let's be real. You probably want to go to Unova because it is basically the region that never sleeps. Hop on a cruise ship from Castelia City, ride the Ferris wheel, or head to the theater in Nimbasa City. If you're a fan of horror, you can head to the Strange House, relax in the Undella Town Villas, or ride the subway from Gear Station. You can even visit Pokestar Studios to watch movie magic happen. And these are just the main attractions. There's more to do in Unova than any other region, which makes it number 1 on this list. I went through this entire list and discovered that Unova, aka the region based on New York City, is the ideal vacation spot. I'm realizing that I might be a bit biased because I live in New York City, so tell me in the comments which region you would most like to vacation to. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram for updates about future videos. Bye!